Peace, everyone. Welcome to Winning Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, noon Eastern, we meet live on YouTube and we discuss current events in the financial markets. As you come in, just let us know where you're from and let me know if you can hear me and see me correctly. As you come in, let me know if you can hear me and see me correctly. Welcome to Winning Wednesdays. We'll give it a minute before we jump into today's meeting. I've got several topics on my notes here I want to discuss, but we'll give it just a minute before we start. Let us know where you're coming in from. Where are you checking in from? Today we are live on YouTube, the Black Boss channel, and we are live on X. So we welcome everyone across both platforms. Peace to everyone now joining. All right, I wanted to discuss several articles. Today is a key day in the financial markets. I've got a few articles I wanted to discuss. I wanted to jump into what's going on this afternoon, later today. I wanted to check some of the financial resource headlines that I use, that I check almost every day. I'm going to get into that. I want to talk about earnings. We're going to get into that. Later today, the Fed will make their decision on interest rates. We're going to get into that. I wanted to talk about Friday's tariff deadline. We're going to get into that. And a few reminders later on. We'll get into that as well. So we welcome everyone to Winning Wednesday. All right. Before we start today's meeting, let's take a live look at the financial markets right now. All right, let's see what's going on in these financial streets. All right. In the financial markets here, we can see that the major indexes are up just slightly. The S&P up slightly, the NASDAQ up slightly. In terms of mega caps, most of them are up. Apple and Amazon just down slightly today. Bitcoin currently at 117,000. Coinbase. I've got an article on Coinbase. Coinbase currently at 378. I wanted to talk about Coinbase a little bit today. Let's see what else we have here. SoFi, they reported earnings yesterday, currently at 2172. Microsoft currently at 513. We're going to talk about Microsoft today. Meta currently at 701. We're going to talk about Meta a little bit today. What else do we have? Netflix 1177, Nvidia 178, Oklo 75, Palantir 158, Tesla 318. Let's see if I can scroll down to the bottom here. I think I got TSM there as well, 242. ExxonMobil currently at 112. All right, so that's a live look at some of the tickers I follow. Mostly green today. A couple of these mega caps are just down slightly. Everything else green. That's a live look at the market. All right, that's a live look at the market. I wanted to give it one more minute before we start. All right, so that's what's going on in the stock market and crypto market. Welcome everyone to Winning Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, noon Eastern, YouTube and on X. We discuss current events in the financial markets. We discuss news. We discuss what's going on, what just happened, what's about to happen. Take a live look at financial markets, discuss financially related news. All right, so first thing I want to do is go to Yahoo Finance. I wanted to take a look at what's going on in Yahoo Finance. Today's a big day in the financial markets for several reasons. So let's get right into it. Let me share my screen here. I want to share this one right here. Let's see here. Share screen. Let's find Yahoo Finance right here. All right, let's take a look at what's going on in Yahoo Finance. Okay, so the main article today on Yahoo Finance is this one here on the left. U.S. economy rebounds from first pullback in 3 years. All right, so we're going to take a look at what's going on with this article. U.S. economic growth rebounded in Q2 as the widest swath of President Trump's tariffs took hold. All right, let's get into this article. This article is from this morning, a couple hours ago. Let's see here. Let's pause the video. Let's get right into the article. All right. Just confirm that you guys can see this. You guys can see this and hear me, correct? Please drop confirmation in the chat that you can see this and hear me. All right. Let's get into it here. U.S. economic growth rebounded in the second quarter after contracting for the first time in 3 years to start 2025. GDP grew at an annualized pace of 3% in the second quarter, according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis Advanced Estimate. Economics surveyed by Bloomberg had expected a 2.6% increase. The reading comes after a large surge in imports ahead of President Trump's tariffs whipsaw caused GDP to contract by 0.5% in the first quarter. The BEA noted that the second quarter bounce back reflected a decrease in the imports, which are a subtraction in the calculation of GDP. Chief economist, this guy noted that the quarterly swings in imports created an economic mirage that masked some underlying cooling in the economy. Policy uncertainty, resurgent inflation pressures stemming from tariffs, and tighter immigration constraints are beginning to weigh more visibly on activity. Let's see what else here. Wednesday's GDP data covers the months of April through June, meaning it reflects activity during the first 3 months of the widest swath of Trump's tariffs were in place. However, it does not reflect recent tariff updates from July. Okay, so July, August, September are Q3. Investors have been closely watching how the most aggressive U.S. tariff stance in a century will impact economic growth. In April, Trump's initial Liberation Day tariffs spooked markets as recession fears rose. Back in early April, first and second week of April, that's I believe when we saw the pullback. But in recent months, economic data has largely been better than feared. Recession concerns have eased. The probability investors were putting on U.S. recession in 2025, as tracked by popular online betting platform, was just 17%, down from a peak of 66% on May 1st. Okay, so that's the major headline on Yahoo Finance. You can read through the rest of that article on your own. The expectation, let me see what the expectation was, 2.6. Expectation of 2.6%, actual of 3%. All right, so that's the main article headline on Yahoo Finance. Let's go back. Let's check a couple other major headlines here. All right, so this is the article we just read here. Starbucks, you might have known, reported yesterday. They reported their earnings yesterday. I believe they were going to cut back. They're going to scale back some of their stores. I think I saw that headline on CNN Business. Okay, so this is one article I want to talk about, or actually one topic I wanted to talk about. The interest rates. Today at 2 p.m. Eastern, about 2 p.m. Eastern or 2:30 p.m. Eastern, the Fed will announce what interest rate change, if any, they'll make. I believe I have an article somewhere. We'll get into that. We'll get into that in a little bit. This is a live look at some of the major headlines on Yahoo Finance. Let's see what else is going on here. Okay, so that's a live look, Yahoo Finance. I wanted to share my screen and let's see what's going on with CNN Business. Let me share my screen. Let's see what's going on with the headlines on CNN Business. All right, so here it is. Here's CNN Business. Let me refresh just to give it an update. Okay, so yeah, there it is. The Starbucks headline right there. For any of you owners in Starbucks, Starbucks is shutting down an entire line of cafes. Let me get my screen correct here. Okay, so yeah, lead article on CNN Business as of 12 p.m. Eastern, July 30th. Starbucks is shutting down an entire line of cafe. Let's see what else here. I wanted to talk about this article right here, how businesses are preparing for the August 1st tariff deadline. We'll get into that shortly. Let's see what else we have. Americans are growing hopeful about the economy as trade talks progress. Trump's trade war victory is already under siege. All right, let's take a look at the Starbucks article. Let's see what's going on with Starbucks. I believe they missed on a couple key metrics. Let's see if this article mentions them by name. Okay, Starbucks is shutting down an entire line of cafes. As of this article is current as of 44 minutes ago. Okay, let's see what's going on with Starbucks. New York, Starbucks is shutting down its pickup-only store model just 6 years after introducing the concept because they no longer mesh with the struggling coffee chain's overall strategy. Okay, so what's the lesson here in this first paragraph? What's a business lesson we can take away from this first paragraph? Starbucks is shutting down its pickup-only store model just 6 years after introducing the concept because they no longer mesh with the struggling coffee chain's overall strategy. What's a business lesson we can take away from that first sentence, from that first paragraph? Any idea? What's a business lesson we can take away from this first paragraph? If something doesn't work, we need to pivot. Be flexible. There you go, Andrea. Be flexible. If something isn't working, change it. Okay? Don't stick with something that isn't working. Very simple business lesson for us. All right, if something doesn't work, you need to make a change. You need to adapt. Okay? All right, let's see what else we got. We found this format to be overly transactional and lacking the warmth and human connection that defines our brand. All right, launched in 2009 and launched in New York in 2019. The pickup-only stores encourage customers to order via their mobile app and wasn't meant to be a place to linger, like a traditional location that has seating. Although some have a smaller indoor area, others have a pickup-only windows. Okay, so Starbucks implemented something new. They found that it wasn't working, and they're looking to make a change. Okay, so what worked yesterday may not work today. What worked today may not work tomorrow. We always need to adapt. Dubbed Starbucks Pickup, the spinoff eventually grew into roughly 90 locations across the U.S., usually built in downtowns, airports, and hospitals. Some of those locations might be converted to a traditional Starbucks in the future, but the company didn't respond to comment about which locations will be changed. Nichols said that the company's strong digital offering with its app can deliver a same level of convenience through our community coffee houses. Since becoming CEO last September, one of Nichols' top directives is restoring the coffeehouse vibes the chain was originally known for. That third place objective was diminished in recent years as Starbucks prioritized speed and convenience. In June, the chain took CNN on a tour of a new cafe with cozier chairs, power outlets, and larger tables that intended to be a model for Starbucks of the future. Okay, so what happened in the last 5 years? We had the pandemic in the last 5 years. Starbucks adapted to that pandemic, and then now they're adapting again. Okay. So first they had more brick and mortars only, then they adapted to more pickup spots only. They found pickup spots only weren't working. Now they adapted once again. So that's a good business lesson for us. Keep adapting. Okay, keep adapting. Take an audit of what's working, what's not working, and make the change if necessary. All right. Nickel unveiled on Tuesday that Starbucks is also building a small format version of its stores with just 10 seats in New York City. So actually, this is a hybrid. So something like a hybrid, a mix of a brick and mortar and a pickup only. So in other words, a scaled back version of their traditional model of the brick and mortar. We believe this new prototype will deliver an exceptional customer experience, improve unit economics, and unlock growth opportunities in more markets. While our financial results don't yet reflect all the progress we've made, the signs are clear. We're gaining momentum. All right, Starbucks shares rose nearly 5% in pre-market trading. All right, so Starbucks is currently at what price? Let's check, see if we can find it here. Starbucks is currently, does it say here? What price is Starbucks currently trading at? Let's take a look here. See if I can pull it up on my app. Let's see here, Starbucks. Starbucks is currently trading at $93.49, down about 3% the past week, about flat the last month, up a lot, actually the last 3 months, up about 22% the last 3 months, year to date up about 2%. Okay, so Starbucks is currently trading at $93.37. Okay, so they reported earnings yesterday. All right, okay, so that's an article from CNN Business on Starbucks and what's going on with Starbucks. All right, let's go back to the home screen, CNN Business. Let's see what else is going on here. Trump threatens India with tariffs as high as 25%. Okay, I wanted to talk about this article right here that I saw early in the week, how businesses are preparing for the August 1st tariff deadline. They can't. Let's see what this one's about. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, this Friday, August 1st, was the tariff deadline that was pushed back from earlier this year. All right, let's see what's going on here. On August 1st, hundreds of countries will come to learn their fate with the U.S. when President Trump's pause on reciprocal tariff ends. Thousands of U.S. businesses will also learn their fates. However, after months of whipsaw trade policy, planning with any sort of certainty has proven near impossible. I don't know if I'll know that I'm out of chess pieces until I'm right there, but it's clear that I'm getting closer, this lady said. All right, and she's a designer bags for breast pumps that are imported. 97% of U.S. businesses that import products are small businesses, according to the Commerce Department. Owners have been trying to navigate the complexities of shifting trade policy, all while trying to run their businesses, leaving them confused, financially strapped, or worse, forced out of business. Okay, so let's pause on that paragraph right there. I want to highlight this right here. Owners have been trying to navigate the complexities of shifting trade policy, all while trying to run their businesses, leaving them confused, financially strapped, or worse, forced out of business. Okay, what's some business lessons from that paragraph right there, or that sentence? Owners have been trying to navigate the complexities of shifting trade policy, all while trying to run their businesses, leaving them confused, financially strapped, or worse, forced out of business. What are some business lessons we can learn from that? Is there any lessons we can take from that sentence? If not, we'll just keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Not knowing if certain key suppliers will have a new trade deal, have the new trade deals or frameworks at lower or higher tariff rates has made this incredibly difficult for retailers of all sizes to properly plan and forecast what the next buying and selling season will look like. Okay, so let me highlight this right here. Here's my takeaway from this sentence right here. Here's my takeaway from the highlighted sentence. Me personally, this is just me speaking my 2 cents, my perspective. I will not let I will not let anyone in the supply chain control my outcome. Okay, I'm not letting any key supplier control my outcome. I'm not letting any middleman of any type control my outcome. Okay, so that's my takeaway from that sentence. It's just my reminder to myself. So a reminder to myself to let no one, including a supplier, dictate my fate. Okay, my fate's going to be up to me and God only. Okay, I will not make myself that vulnerable to anyone. Okay, that's my takeaway. All right, let's see what else we have. Currently, imports from most countries except China face a 10% universal tariff. But in the last few weeks, dozens of countries have received warning letters from Trump that they will face higher rates unless they negotiate a deal before August 1st. Okay, August 1st is this Friday. All right, let's see what else we have here. Okay, so this lady started to move the production of her bags out of China in February when Trump kicked off his trade war. Okay, so what's a takeaway from this sentence right here? If you have a business that's dependent on import-export, if it's dependent on what Trump is doing, what Trump's not doing, what should we do? Maybe we shouldn't be that vulnerable. Maybe we need to go consider a different line of business. Just in case these suppliers or anyone in the supply chain jerks us. Okay, we still need to eat regardless of tariffs or no tariffs. Okay, we need to ensure we're going to be all right either way. Okay, so this is a heads up to anyone in the import-export business that relies on their business that has a business model that relies on import-export that's dependent on tariffs. Okay, maybe we need to consider something else. All right, so this lady goes on to talk about this lady's situation. I've tried to manufacture in the US, but I can't. China, the policies chased me there. Now I'm financially invested in Cambodia with the prospect of incredibly high, insurmountable tariff looming this August. Okay, so this lady's adapted her business. She's switched the source of her suppliers multiple times, it looks like, and now she's vulnerable once again. Okay, so this is a heads up to all of us. Here we go. Tariffs are forcing companies to rethink their supply chains and investment timelines. Okay, but strategic change takes time. Okay, so that's a key sentence in this paragraph right here. Okay, so here's another key sentence. Companies are just waiting to see how the new playing field will land in order for them to make important decisions economically. Okay, maybe here's a takeaway from that sentence right there. Maybe we don't wait to be proactive. We don't wait to be reactive. We take initiative and we be proactive. Just assume these people will jerk us. Just assume the supply chain will jerk us. A key supplier will jerk us. Some things will change. Economic times will change. What's the plan then? We need to think ahead of time. If these problems do arise, what's the solution? We think about these things ahead of time, not after the fact. Okay, so some lessons in this article from CNN Business for us. Let's see here. Let me go to the comment here. I think I see a key comment here. Let me highlight this comment right here. Here we go. Have a plan B, other options, right? There you go. That's a good takeaway. Have a plan B, have a plan C. just in case A and B fall through. Let's see what here. Let's see here. Another key comment: have a backup plan or pivot like NVIDIA sources from other places than Taiwan. Have a backup plan, and maybe have a backup to the backup just in case. Okay. You as a business owner, you as a chief executive officer are the one that's ultimately in charge. You need to have the foresight to think ahead. Okay. You can't wait till things go wrong, then make a plan. We need a plan A. If plan A goes bad, we have a plan B. If plan B goes bad, we have plan C, just in case. Just in case. Okay. So some key business lessons we can learn from some of these articles. All right. Let's check. I want to check my notes right here. All right. So this Friday, tariff deadline. We'll see what actually shakes out between now and Friday. Let's see here. Okay, before we continue, before we continue some of the articles, some of the current events, I want to actually go to earnings. I mentioned today is a key day in the financial markets. Here's one reason, actually. We've got earnings. Some mega caps will report today and a couple more tomorrow. So let me see if I can share this earnings picture with everyone. It's a good picture I found online. I want to share this, see if I can share this correctly here. All right, here we go. All right, so it's a snapshot of this week's earnings. Monday's passed, Tuesday's passed. Okay, so we saw SoFi report earnings yesterday morning, Starbucks report yesterday, Visa report yesterday, Spotify reported, and UPS reported yesterday. Back on Monday, Waste Management. What else? Waste Management probably the biggest company on that list from Monday. Now, if you look at Wednesday, the middle column there, a couple companies, including Etsy, reported this morning. Etsy and Humana this morning. Now, this afternoon after close, there's some big boys reporting. Meta and Microsoft report. Some of you run option plays on the APLD, Applied Blockchain. So if you're a shareholder in any of these companies, Meta, Microsoft, Robinhood, Qualcomm, Ford, or ARM, just know that those companies report today after close. Tomorrow morning, CVS Health, Roblox, AbbVie, what else? MasterCard, Cigna. Tomorrow after close, a couple more mega caps, Apple, Amazon, Strategy, and Coinbase as well. That's tomorrow after close. Friday morning before open, ExxonMobil. So what do you guys think about that? So 4 of the mega caps report this week. Meta, Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon. All right, so that's a snapshot of this week's earnings. Okay, what do you guys think about that? Do you guys hold shares of any of these companies? Chevron, ExxonMobil, you guys own any shares of these companies? Roku, MasterCard, Visa, Etsy, ARM, Ford, Harley Davidson, Caesars. Actually, Caesars reported yesterday. UPS, Boeing, PayPal. Do you guys own any shares of PayPal? What else? Bank of Hawaii back on Monday. So some of these. Do you guys own any shares of this? I own shares of several of these companies here. So I'm going to be watching what happens later today and tomorrow. Okay, so that's what's going on in terms of earnings this week. All right, I wanted to share that picture as actually, if you look in the upper left corner, earnings whispers, good financial resource. They always have. I always see these pictures every week. I always quickly review what big companies report that week. So check out Earnings Whispers, good financial resource in terms of earnings every week. All right. So what do you guys think about that? You guys own any shares of these companies? Meta, Microsoft, Robinhood. Some of you may run option plays on Robinhood, Coinbase, APLD. What else do we have? Altria, MO. Actually, I missed the MO right there earlier this morning. Hershey. All right. So that's what's going on in terms of earnings. All right. So just be mindful if you own any shares of these companies. All right. Let's see what else is going on. Well, let me check my notes. Okay, so we talked about earnings. Okay, I've got a couple more articles I want to share. But before I do that, I want to share my Grok screen. I want to ask the AI. Actually, let me see if I have it in my AI history. No, I don't. I wanted to ask the AI. Let me refresh my Grok, then I'll share my screen here. I wanted to ask the AI what the expectation in terms of interest rates are. Let me see if I could do that. Let me type it in first here. Share screen. Get my text straight here. Okay, here we go. Let me share the screen here. Share screen. Share this one right here. Okay, here we go. Okay, I wanted to ask the AI, what is the expectation for the Fed decision today? I believe that the expectation is they hold rates steady. Let's see what it says here. What is the expectation for Fed decision today? Federal Reserve is widely to expect to maintain the federal funds rate at its current rate of 4.25%. Okay, at the conclusion of its July 30, 2025 meeting. That's today. Okay. Recent tariffs and trade uncertainties have prompted the Fed to adopt a cautious wait-and-see approach, particularly regarding potential inflationary pressures. Investors and analysts are focused on the FOMC's post-meeting statement and Jerome Powell's 2:30 p.m. Eastern press conference for hints about possible rate cut in September. Okay, with a 60% chance of a 25 basis point cut projected for that meeting. Okay, so the expectation is they hold the rate steady, looks like. So how do you guys feel about that? Are you guys doing anything out of the ordinary? Is it business as usual for you? For me personally, it's just business as usual. It's just business as usual for me in terms of this Fed meeting this afternoon. All right. So I wanted to mention the Fed meeting today at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Actually, I believe they dropped the decision at 2. Powell speaks at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. All right, so that's going to happen later today. All right. Okay, I wanted to mention that Fed meeting. Okay, a couple more reminders before we continue. Let me check my notes here. In terms of scheduling, this Sunday, August 3rd, I'll have my monthly options meeting. So any of you in my monthly options meeting, we meet the first Sunday every month. So the first Sunday of this month will be this coming Sunday, August 3rd. I'll have my monthly options meeting. Okay, so that's this Sunday. What else we have? In a few weeks, Atlanta, ABNC. I'll be there, God willing. That's coming up. This Friday will be the 1st, so it's actually about 3 weeks away. So 3 weeks as of this weekend. ABNC will be held in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, so that's coming up. That's approaching quickly. I want to actually mention this. Let me pull up this website here. I want to pull up this website and just remind everyone. All right, let me get this straight here. All right, here we go. Let me share my screen here. For any of you that okay, let me stop sharing that one. Let me add this one. For any of you not on this platform, for any of you that are not on the B1 Nation platform, consider joining. If you're not already a part of B1 Nation, don't just complain about Elon Musk's platform and then not support your own platform. Don't just complain about Alphabet's platform and not support your own platform. Don't just complain about Zuckerberg's platform and not support your own platform. All right, so B1 Nation, I'm on B1 Nation. I'm on B1 Nation every day or every second day. A good way to network with people, connect with people, whatever, regardless of what your interest is: real estate, stock market, entrepreneurship, options, crypto, whatever you're into. B1 Nation is a good way of connecting with other members. It's also a good way to connect with people near you. If you click on this members tab on the left here, you can see who's literally close in your area. Okay, so good way to connect with people and build out your network. Okay, so anyone that's not on B1 Nation, consider joining B1 Nation. It's a very good networking tool. Okay, don't just complain about these other platforms and then not support your own platform. Okay, so a reminder to anyone not on B1 Nation, consider joining. All right, so that's a couple reminders. A couple reminders in terms of scheduling and joining B1 Nation. All right, let's see what else we got. What do you guys think about that? Okay, nonfiction asks, do you have a link? Is it an app or a link? Okay, it's actually a website. Let me drop the I'm gonna drop the website in the chat right here. It's b1nation.us. Let me see if I can copy and paste this. I just dropped it in the chat right there, b1nation.us, b1nation.us. Okay, don't just complain about Zuckerberg's platforms. You don't like Zuckerberg's platforms and then not support your own. All right, let's see here. It's actually a website. So if I didn't mention it's a website, it's a website. All right. All right, let's see what else is going on. I want to get back to some of the current events. I've got the. I thought I saw somebody mention this article in the chat a minute ago regarding JP Morgan and Coinbase. So let's see what's going on with them too. Now this article is from Yahoo Finance, but it's originally from Reuters. Okay, so JP Morgan to enable crypto purchases via credit cards in Coinbase tie-up. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. This article is from this morning, a couple hours ago. U.S. banking giant JP Morgan partnered with Coinbase on Wednesday to allow customers to fund their wallets using its Chase credit cards and buy cryptocurrency on the exchange starting in fall 2025. Once viewed warily by traditional financial institutions, the digital assets industry has gained enough traction among consumers and investors that large banks are now entering the space. They've been entered in the space. From custody services to card-linked purchases, financial heavyweights are increasingly offering crypto-related products and mulling new use cases for its tokens, signaling how far the once nascent market has matured. Okay, so not too long ago, these big institutions are saying the crypto market is used by money launderers. Fast forward to present day, they're neck deep in the crypto market. The cryptocurrency market recently touched a $4 trillion valuation and expected to grow further as regulatory clarity in major markets such as the U.S. drives broader adoption. Starting in 2026, Chase customers will be able to redeem credit card points. Wow, okay, this is a key sentence right here. Starting in 2026, Chase customers will be able to redeem credit card reward points for USDC, a US dollar pegged stablecoin, and directly link their bank accounts to Coinbase to fund crypto purchases. What do you guys think about that? Coinbase shares rose 3% in morning trading after the partnership was announced. Stablecoins are a type of token designed to shield users from price volatility and are widely used as a bridge between traditional finance and digital assets. Stablecoins, okay, we just read that. With the demand for low-cost, instant transactions, stablecoins are poised for rapid growth as adoption spreads across payments, trading, and emerging financial platforms. Crypto adoption is set to accelerate following the passage of the Genius Act. I think we talked about the Genius Act last week. Companies across the crypto ecosystem are well positioned to benefit from digital asset growth and price appreciation. Earlier this month, PNC said it was working with Coinbase to offer crypto trading to the bank's customers. Coinbase shares have surged around 50% so far this year, gaining the crypto exchange a market value of about $95 billion through previous close. The company recently secured a spot in the benchmark S&P index, in a milestone for the industry. Okay, so Coinbase partnering with some of the largest institutions in America, recently added to the S&P 500, and also reports earnings later today. Was it today or is it tomorrow? Tomorrow, I believe it was. Tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow Coinbase reports earnings. All right, so that's another article I wanted to mention. What Coinbase is doing. Coinbase is making moves. These large financial institutions in America are look to be partnering with Coinbase. This article was from Yahoo Finance. So you can read this article, check it out on your own. All right, let's see what else. Let's go back to Yahoo Finance right quick. I wanted to refresh and see what's any other articles we could discuss today. All right, let's see here. Starbucks, we talked about Starbucks. Talked about this article right here. Okay, so this article, Mercedes and Porsche see more tariff pain on the way. Okay, so just reading that headline right there. Mercedes and Porsche see more tariff pain on the way. What's a lesson we can learn just from reading that headline? Is there a lesson we can learn from just reading this headline right here? If you're Mercedes, if you're Porsche, what do you do? What do you do? If you're Mercedes or if you're Porsche and you're getting jerked around by these tariffs, you have to adapt. You have to figure out ways you can generate revenue regardless of tariff, or I should say independent of tariffs. Okay, how do you adapt? How do you generate revenue if you're Mercedes or Porsche and you're subject to these tariffs? You have to innovate. You have to find new ways of generating revenue, brainstorm new products and services that are independent of tariffs. Maybe you explore services for your existing customers that are independent of the tariff. Okay, so say you're Mercedes and you've got customer base, an existing customer base. Maybe you brainstorm ways that you can generate revenue from your existing customer base that doesn't rely on imports and exports. Something like Tesla. Like Tesla has got that software. I think software as a service they use that's kind of independent of their physical imports, physical exports. And if you're Porsche, maybe you do the same thing. Let's see. Stallworth. Let me check some of these comments right here. Stallworth says, I wonder, will it be like a cash? Oh, you're talking about the Coinbase and JP Morgan partnership, like a cash charge? You mean like cashback? He says, invest in Alabama Mercedes location. Okay, invest in Alabama Mercedes location. Okay, how do you mean the Mercedes, the company? I'm not sure if you can invest in that specific location unless I'm wrong. All right, they have one. Okay, what we're talking about the not sure what we're talking about there. All right. Okay, let's check. I want to check. Let's take a look. Okay, so he says they have a manufacturing location there in Alabama. Okay, got it. All right, let me share my not Yahoo Finance. Let's check what's going on with MSNBC. Let's see what's going on with MSNBC. I want to check some of their headlines. I like to check several financial resource headlines because, one platform may emphasize one article, one platform may not emphasize that platform or that article. They may emphasize something completely different. Let's see what's going on with MSNBC. All right, so this is a live look at MSNBC. Let me go to the business section. Let's see what's going on here. Articles in the top right says SEC filings show some corporate leaders' true feelings about Trump's economy. Let's see what else is going on here. I think we talked about this one last week. Coca-Cola says U.S. to get cane sugar version falsely pitched as healthy. Okay, I think we talked about Coke last week. Kind of talked about this in the past. Trump calls for interest rate cuts after better than expected GDP report. So we'll see what actually happens today. We talked about Trump pressuring Jerome Powell. Trump is blaming Jerome Powell for his own mistakes, according to this article. All right, so these are some of the headlines on MSNBC. You can check out MSNBC on your own time. All right, so that's a live look at MSNBC right there. Let's check the market right quick. Let's check the market. Let me share the market. See if anything has really changed between now and about half an hour ago. I don't expect too much change. Here's a live look at some of the tickers I follow on TradingView. Okay, major indexes. Not much change. Mostly green, or actually all green. Bitcoin at 117,800. Talked about Coinbase currently at 381. Ethereum 3,700, just under 3,800. Google 197. I think they had earnings, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Let's take a look at Google, see if I can pull up their chart here correctly. There's Google. Okay, so let's see, what is this, the 5? No, this is the 1 year chart right here. Okay, so let's see what's going on with Google. Back in February, they were over 200. Okay, so they're back approaching February's high of 200. Currently at 197. Back in April, in the 140s. One of the biggest companies in the world, Google. We talked about Microsoft. They report later today. Currently at 512. We'll see what happens after close today. Let's check their 1 year chart. Oh, that is the 1 year chart. Okay, let's see what happened. What's going on with Microsoft? August 2024, they're at 424. Currently at 512. Let's see what else. Back in April, they bottomed out at about 350, in the 350s. Currently at 512. Okay, so April, May, June, now July, 4 months later, they're up over $150. Okay, Meta also report earnings today. There's the 1 year chart on Meta. A year ago, 1 year ago, August 2024, they were at 524, currently at 701. Back in April, they bottomed out in the 480s, looks like 470 something, 480, currently at 700. Wow. Okay, so April, May, June, July, 4 months later, they went from 480 something, 470 something to 700. Okay, so that's an incredible return in such a short period. Okay, crazy return in 4 months. Okay, that's Meta. Netflix. Let's see what's going on with Netflix. Netflix. Okay, there's the 1 year. Let's make sure it's the 1 year chart on Netflix. 1 year ago, August 2024, they're at 645, and they almost doubled that now. 1 year later. Okay. Back in April, let's see where they were. Back in April, they were at 823 in the 800s. Okay, now they're at 1100, almost 1200. Okay. NVIDIA, 1 year chart on the NVIDIA. 1 year ago, they're at 118. They're currently at 179. Okay. So, I mean, those few tickers that we just looked at show just the yearly return. Now, imagine you had those tickers 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Okay. Imagine those returns. Okay. Crazy returns in 1 year, crazy returns in 4 months. Imagine what the returns would be in 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 12 years, 15 years. Okay. Well, what were we doing 12 years ago? Okay. Me personally, I was wasting a whole bunch of cash 12 years ago. Imagine if I had bought and hold some of these companies we just discussed. Okay. Imagine I did that not just 12 years ago. Imagine I did that 7 years ago. Imagine I did that 5 years ago. Imagine I did that the last 4 months. Okay. So it's a good lesson for us right here. Okay. Be patient, buy and hold. Let time do its thing. Let compound interest do its thing. All right. So let's see here. Andrea says, look at Palo Alto. Okay. Let's look at Palo Alto. Let me pull up Palo Alto in Yahoo Finance. Let's take a look at Palo. I can't. I'm not good with the English. You ready? You know I'm not good with the English. Palo Alto. I am good with the business. I don't know what an adjective is. I don't know what a verb is. I don't know what a noun is. I don't care. I really don't care about that stuff. I know what my profit margin is. I know what my return is. I know what my cash flow is. I know what my P&L is. I don't know what a noun is. I don't care what a noun is. All right, let me see. Let me pull up Palo Alto right here. I think I spelled it wrong. PA, yeah, I can't spell that good. Let's see here. Let me pull it up in Yahoo Finance, then I'll share my screen here. Okay, what's the ticker on Palo Alto? Someone drop it in the chat. What's the ticker symbol for Palo Alto? What's the ticker symbol for Palo Alto? I'm trying to spell it in here. Let me share my screen here. Someone drop the ticker. Let me share my screen right here. Let me share my Yahoo Finance screen. Share screen, Yahoo Finance. Let's look up Palo Alto. All right, so I'm in the search here. I'm in the search, Palo Alto. Is it this one right here? Palo Alto Networks, PANW. Is that the right ticker symbol? PANW? Or am I tripping? PANW. Okay, got it. All right, let's see. Palo Alto currently at 183.48. All right, let's check the chart on Palo Alto. All right. 5 day. Okay, so 5 day, it dropped a lot in the last week, about 8%. So what's going on with Palo Alto the last 5 days? 1 month even down even further the last month. 10% in the last month. What's going on with Palo Alto? Let's check the 6 months. 6 month about flat, down about 2%. Year to date, flat year to date. 1 year up a lot though. 5 year up a lot. All time up even crazier. Okay, so what's going on year to date with Palo Alto? What is going on? Let's just check the news on this company. See if I can check some news here. All right, CyberArk coming. Okay, so here we go. Here's a article from earlier today. Why Palo Alto Networks stock is nosediving. Shares of cybersecurity provider Palo Alto Networks fell 5% in the morning session after the company announced a definitive agreement to acquire identity security leader CyberArk for approximately $25 billion. The landmark cash and stock deal, the largest in their history, was aimed at establishing a strong presence in the growing identity security market and bolstering its AI-powered cybersecurity platform. However, investors reacted with apprehension to the announcement. The substantial size of the transaction sparked concerns about the financial implications, potentially stock dilution for existing shareholders, and the execution risks associated with integrating two companies. Despite the staged strategic benefits, the market's immediate response focused on the significant cost of the acquisition. Okay, so this is what's going on with Palo Alto. Yeah, this was what I was thinking. The stock market overreacts to news, and big price drops can present a good buying opportunity. Okay, so are you guys buying Palo Alto? Okay, so what's going on? Are you guys doing anything because of this news? Let's see here. Their shares are somewhat volatile and have had 10 moves greater than 5% over the last year. In that context, today's move indicates the market considers this news meaningful, but not something that would fundamentally change its perception of the business. Okay, so Palo Alto, big company, strong company. The biggest move we wrote about over the last year was 11 months ago when the stock gained 9% on the news that the company reported second quarter earnings that topped analyst expectations for most of key top line metrics. Okay, so that's what's going on with Palo Alto. Okay, so 52-week high of 208 earlier this year, back in February. All right, so that's Palo Alto right there. All right. All right. One more. Anyone want one more ticker you want to look up before we wrap? Drop them in the chat quickly. Let's look up one more if you want. One that we haven't talked about. What's a ticker that we don't usually talk about. Anyone want to have a ticker they want to look up right quick? Let us know. Otherwise, we'll wrap for today. Every Wednesday, noon Eastern, we talk about current events in the financial markets. We talked about earnings this week. We talked about the Fed meeting later today. We talked about several companies, Palo Alto, Starbucks, Coinbase, what else? JP Morgan, Coinbase partnership. What else did we talk about? Talked about several topics, some of the current events in the financial markets. Okay, let's look up this last ticker and then we'll wrap for today. CLS. Let me share my screen here. CLS is what ticker? What ticker is CLS again? CLS is Celestica. Something went wrong. CLS. See if it'll come up. Celestica. Let's go to Celestica. Okay, Yahoo Finance doesn't want to cooperate. Let me refresh and we'll give it one more shot. Okay, there it goes. Hopefully you can see that. So let me stop sharing that one. Let me share the correct screen here. Celestica. Let's take a look at Celestica. Okay, there's Celestica right there. Currently at 201.27. 5 day, well, up a lot the last 5 days. Wow, 20% almost the last 5 days. So what do they have? Earnings? Do they have earnings? They have earnings. 1 month. Wow, up a lot. 30% in 1 month. That's crazy. 6 months up 100%. Wow. So they done blew up. They done blew up. Okay, what do? Electronics tech company Celestica, together with its subsidiaries, provides supply chain solutions. Okay, got it. Supply chain solutions in Asia, North America, and internationally. Operates through two segments: advanced technology and connectivity and cloud solutions. Yeah, this company is blowing up. Year to date, up 150%. Year 1 year, wow, 1 year 312%. That's crazy. Okay, all times probably even more crazy. 2,000%. Okay, 2,000%. Okay, so these charts just show us the power in long-term holding. Okay, so that's what's going on with Celestica. They done blew up. Okay, they done blew up. Strong income, optimistic outlook, beats expectations. Okay, so it looks like they had earnings earlier. Okay, got it. All right, so that's CLS. All right, so we're going to wrap for today. We'll meet again next week, Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern. Hopefully this is a value add to you. If this is a value add to you, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the Black Boss channel, subscribe to the Financial Juneteenth YouTube channel. All right, peace. I'll check you out next Wednesday.